one of the things, hopefully, I can tell you today is the difference between sort of the popular suri-age versus the good suri-age. And that is close to the Itoryu sword handling. So there's a difference. And this time there were a couple of questions last week. One was by the David Sensei that when he tried from here and try to approach, this shinai tip goes down like so, instead of going almost horizontally. So that was one of the question David Sensei has, and I think the today's practice will answer part of the his problem, and that was one. And the other one was from the Scott Sensei. What is the right distance when we have a kamae between the left foot and the right foot? So I believe I sent you by email by the Nakamura Sensei's instruction. Everybody had the chance to see it?
I only saw the diagram. I didn't have a chance to watch the video, although I saw the posting.
Actually, it's not a video, it's pictures, I believe. But there, Nakamura Sensei is clearly showing us right foot and left foot, something like this, and how high the heel should be when he has a stance. And I think that is consistent to the what we are trying to do here. So the we tried last week. So Scott Sensei, please take a look when you have time.
Right.
It's an instruction for the basics prepared by Nakamura Sensei. And Nakamura Sensei is the right now the director of the Chuseikan in Atsugi Dojo, which is a very famous dojo, and following the traditional Kendo. So I think it's very good to see it. And then the other one, perhaps I didn't send you by email. However, I shared it on my Facebook, Tamano Kendo Research and Clinic for the Takigawa Sensei, Shiseikan in Kanagawa. And this is also a very famous pop one. Did you have a chance to see the Takigawa Sensei's my Facebook? Okay, if not, please take a look. He is following the traditional or Nakanishi Itoryu. And his father was a Naindan, and he is a Hachidan, and both are very famous. And then, so happened to be one of my friends, which I met at the Chushinkan, the Jennifer knows and Hiromi-san knows, and he was working at Sony, and then he retired, and now he's with his son in Florida, and so he used to practice with Maeda sensei and so on in Florida, which Jennifer, of course, knows. And however, I guess he had injured the hip or something. So nowadays, I think he's just doing the some exercise with ladies. And then he sent me a book, said this one, Ikenaga Yuichiro, written by Ikenaga Yuichiro. And what this book is, the Ikenaga-san was the, he is now retired, but was the Sony Kendo Bucho, director of the Sony Kendo. And I understand he used to practice at the Chushinkai also. And now he retired and in Oita, and Oita is one of the places that Nakanishi Itoryu is practiced there. So he wondered why Oita. And then starting from that kind of question and so on and so forth. So he really, he's an engineer, by the way. He was. But then he visited the Nakanishi Itoryu, followed the Nakanishi Itoryu, and had a chance to see the what they have, what the Nakanishi Itoryu has. So he had a chance to see it, but because in other Nakanishi Itoryu place, supposedly what is written in Nakanishi Itoryu cannot be taken outside. Lots of sects in all days like that. But in Oita, he was able to see the what Nakanishi Itoryu has, and then so he tried to answer some of the questions, and for example, one of the questions he is asking is when we do the swing, we we are told 45 degrees. When you have one. And nowadays, the All Japan Kendo Federation doesn't recommend to have a big recovery touching the back and so on. And so one of the questions he is asking in this book is where the 45 degree come from? So he is comparing how the Itodu does and try to understand whether the root is Itodu or not. And he doesn't have an answer yet. So, but he's pretty much investigating the details of where those classic instructions come from, and where is the difference between the current shinai kendo and the traditional way. So he's a very good book, but this is probably a little difficult to read. Some of the things he saw was in kanbun. Scott Sensei, do you understand kanbun? Understand
No,
what kanbun means?
Hambu, no, I've not heard of that term.
Okay. The earlier in Japan, the way we write sentences is in the Chinese way. All Chinese characters. But there's a special way translate into the Japanese way. But what we see is all Chinese character. So the in old days, particularly like samurai and or monk, those people use the so-called kanbun. Kanbun means one of the Chinese era. I don't know what it is. So anyway, it's a very nice book and a good study, but probably fairly difficult to read it for unless you really have a knowledge of the Kendo. So since let's see, the Sakaino-san and Oki-san wasn't here, so the could everybody do the small movement like man,